Teresa is 4 years old. She knows a song about a sailor and one about a dog named Bingo. But this is the song she knows best.
He is so, yes, Jesus loves me, yes, Jesus loves me, yes, Jesus loves me, the Bible tells me so.
Teresa's father is an alcoholic. For 28 days last January, he was a patient at an alcoholism treatment center in Avon Park, Florida. Away from Teresa, away from his 12-year-old son Rodney, away from his 9-year-old daughter Dee Dee, and from the woman he married 13 years ago.
We had given up. We just decided, well, we were just through. We just wasn't going to have it anymore.
Well, he gets sort of mad at us, and we just seem like everything we do is always something wrong.
Well, he always wants money, and he goes looking through all the drawers, hunting for money.
She gets real upset, and she cries all the time because he goes to fussing, and then several times he's pushed us and knocked us around, you know.
He left no one untouched. He drank himself into an institution, drank his family out of a big house, flooded his wife and children with abuse, and left them desperate for money. And it wasn't the first time. But there is more to Bain than his destructive drinking. He suffers dark and restless periods, moods too frightening to endure without alcohol. He wants to know what propels him on periodic benders. He doesn't want to drink. He doesn't want to lose his family. That's why he came to Avon Park. And that's why he entered this room for the most painful confrontation during his stay at the clinic. With the family is Mr. Bowers, a counselor at Avon Park.
Do you know what kind of a hospital this is, Rod?
An alcoholic hospital.
And well, it's just the reason your dad's here, then, is that it?
Yes, sir.
For why? What was the...
Well, it was because of him drinking a lot.
Did you kind of wonder then why Dad was in the hospital? What was wrong? What did you think he was here for? Did you have any idea?
Well, yeah,
What was that?
for drinking, really.
What happens when Dad drinks, Rod?
Well, he just gets angry, and he just keeps wanting money, and he usually gets us out of our house.
He gets angry and he wants money and then he kicks you out of the house?
Well, he doesn't actually kick us out. I mean, it just, he gets us in such a spot that we just don't have hardly any money.
You get in pretty tough spots when Dad gets drinking like that.
Yes, sir.
Does it scare you?
Yes, sir.
Dad? How about you, Dave? How do you feel when Dad gets drinking?
I feel nervous, too.
You feel nervous, too? And you get scared, too, sometimes?
Well, as soon as we find out, is then...
As soon as you find out what?
As soon as we find out that he's starting...
Mm-hmm. Then what do you do then?
Mostly I just go with Mom.
That's when you feel real bad. As you see it, what happens when your husband gets drinking? What is...
Well, when he starts in, he doesn't quit. what I mean by that, if he starts drinking today, this has to go on for days, maybe weeks, maybe a month. And then this is when it really gets disgusting, because all this length of time, he won't work. He doesn't do anything. He fusses, he gripes, he wants money, and he demands it from us, regardless of whether we eat or what have we.
So then you're kind of, well, kind of walking on eggs, I guess.
Right.
That part of the
It's
time.
always this feeling when he drives up, well, is this the day?
Then, you know, it sounds like you're kind of sitting on a time bomb waiting for the thing to go off.
Right. That's just about what it amounts to.
Mr. Davis, what do you think about what your family's saying?
Not saying, I'm not denying that I don't need it. I need this.
What is it you feel kind of guilty about, what some of the things that they've been talking about?
Certainly. No, I think anybody that thought anything of his family, he would. I have, I don't know, I just can't explain it. I've never really tried to help myself in the past. I'd say I would, and gone to AA and things of this nature, and doctors, and have all intention, but which I would straighten up, and I never, without trying to find out the reason. And I'm convinced now there's reasons for it.
Have the two of you ever talked really about alcoholism, about, you know, what you're talking about right now?
Not really.
The only discussion that we've ever had about alcohol is what I have done to cause the trouble and what we were going to do in the future, such as, you know, I was going to straighten up and this and that and the other, but I don't think we've ever really got down and talked to where what may cause it, such as, of course, we know I'm 95% of it. And I feel like maybe 5% may be yours and the children. I mean, it's hard for y'all to realize it, but it could be.
Well, I realize that.
Of course, I never heard her mention the word love yet.
You haven't?
No.
What was that for, Dee? Have you heard it? Have you heard the word love? How do you, as a family, how do you express love in this family? How do you know that you love each other, or if anybody does love anybody?
Well, now, my feelings is this. I do little things for him. I don't go around saying I love you, this sort of thing all the time, because I don't feel like that's necessary.
Well, what do you think would happen if you did?
Well, I don't know. He'd think I was out of my mind, probably.
Would
But,
She doesn't express it that way.
Yeah, but that isn't the question I asked. Would you think she was out of her mind if she said I love you?
No, I wouldn't think she was out of her mind, but I would think there was kind of a change.
Would you like, you'd like to hear that, I guess, wouldn't you?
Occasionally, yeah, I think every man would. If he loves the individual, he'd like to hear it. Sure. We've discussed this before, haven't we?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it isn't going to be easy, what you're talking about, to express how you feel. I think probably you have just as difficult a time expressing feelings of irritation and annoyance as you do feelings of love and affection. And so this isn't going to be easy for you. And I don't think it's going to be easy for you either. Mm-hmm. But it's something that you're going to have to consciously work at.
It has now been 3 months since Bain left the clinic at Avon Park. He still hasn't had a drink. And he's still struggling with his drinking problem.
Like, I've only been dry 3 weeks. Now, this is the longest I've ever been without a drink.
This is a group therapy session for women alcoholics at the Central Islip State Hospital in New York. And this is what many of them worry about.
Who cares outside whether you take a drink or not? Nobody.
They do care.
No, they don't. Not really.
But first, we must care about ourselves. This is the most important thing. For all those years, I didn't care about Joan Beasley. Now I care.
All I know is that when I go out, there's not one thing outside that's going to say to me, Alice, don't take a drink. We care. No one outside just isn't there.
You have it right. You only live now. Live today. You're here. We do care.
You're talking about nobody cares. The most important person who can care is you.
But you have to like yourself. How can you like yourself knowing that you're an alcoholic?
It comes slowly as you start to open up these doors and break down those walls that we put up. We built walls around us. We didn't want anyone to know what we were like. We were afraid to have people find out.
Yeah, but now we're sober and people are going to say this to us.
What the hell do you care what people say? If you know inside you're doing right, what do you care?
Oh,
There's
you
a lot
do,
of
Joan.
vicious people out there. Well, you've got to learn not to care. Just care for yourself. When they put you in a coffin and put you in the ground, do you think people are going to care?
This is Joan, the woman who shouted her advice.
And then I came here, and I weighed 82 pounds when I came here. Now I weigh 105. And then I was in such a fog and full of so many fears, but I saw one thing that did bring me to a little bit. I saw Dr. Petrelli go outside when two women decided they were going to leave here because they didn't feel they were alcoholic. And I knew what they were headed for. I knew from my own experience that if they went out, that they may not get a second chance to come back. And I saw this doctor, the head doctor of the hospital, go out on the street and stand there in the cold for half an hour talking and begging these women to come back in. And I knew that there was just somebody that cared about me. If he cared about those women, he cared about me. And then from there, I went into group therapy, and I started learning about myself. And I learned about the emotional problem that I have had since I was a little girl, that I had suppressed. And each week, we grow.
How can someone tell if they're an alcoholic?
They can see the signs themselves. When they need the drink in the morning to straighten themselves out, when they have the shakes, when they're having blackouts, when they're having the remorse the next day, they usually know. It takes a lot of guts to come out and admit it. But once you come out and admit it, then you feel good because you know what your problem is. You're no longer just a drunk or a bum. You're an alcoholic. And that's not such a bad word when you get to understand it.
Are you a mother?
Yes, I'm a mother.
Are you a mother and an alcoholic?
First, I'm an alcoholic.
Always.
Because if I take a drink, I am no longer a mother. I am no longer anything. I can no longer go to church. I can no longer do anything. I cannot even function at all in society. So first, I must be an alcoholic and take care of that problem. And it is really very, very simple. As long as I don't take the first drink, then I don't have to worry about anything else.
Daddy didn't try. Daddy beat it into me.
Shirley has had a problem with that first drink since she was 18. At 24, she found her way through hospitals and jails to the famed Georgian Clinic in Atlanta, Georgia. The lady with her back to the camera is Dr. Vernell Fox, the medical director of the clinic and an expert in the field of alcoholism. The pain which the alcoholic suffers isn't always obvious at first, but it's always there. And so it is with Shirley.
My family expected me to go to some nice, quiet college, university, and be a school teacher like Aunt Gladys, or a librarian like Aunt Doris, live in the community like a respectable person, and as society, you know, sees the way people should be.
That's bad.
Is that bad? No, I don't think it's bad.
Dull.
Yes, very dull. It's still very dull, but not so dull as it was.
As dull as some of the others.
Wow. Yeah.
Were you difficult, huh?
What do you mean?
Really, really, what really?
What do
I
you
mean,
mean?
you know, sure, you've been drinking all the booze in the country and wandering around, but what really down inside?
I think I never really felt that anybody cared anything about me. I think that I just never had any love. Nobody ever had time for me. And I spent a lot of my life, especially my early childhood, alone. I used to go off into the woods and spend all day and not come home till night. I realize that I have so many feelings that I've sort of placed in isolation for so long. It's like my heart's been a freezer locker and my mind has been enveloped with bars of tension and anxiety, not the kind that you find behind a prison wall, but the kind you find within yourself.
Yeah, you need a textbook in psychiatry.
Maybe I'm a con artist.
You
Maybe
certainly are.
Yeah, well, I ought to be.
Excellent one.
I ought to be. But the fact remains that I'm here.
Yeah, I know.
I might be the greatest con artist that ever lived.
That's what fascinates me, is that you are here.
It fascinates me, too.
I wonder
Not
why,
too
really.
intriguing.
No, I really wonder why. Really, really. You scared?
Well, hell yeah. Scared to death.
You've been scared before, is that new?
No, I've never been scared before. I always thought that I was capable of putting myself in a situation and getting out of it. But it's not so simple with alcohol. It's not so simple with me and alcohol. I don't know about the rest of the world.
Kind of grabs you, don't it?
It sure does. Whatever made you become interested in people like me?
You're changing the subject all over again.
Maybe I am.
If you want an answer, maybe it's because I'm people.
It's pretty hard to accept.
I know. That's what really scares you, isn't it?
Like the fact that I'm human.
Now, are you a people?
Am I a people?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or are you a monster?
I don't know. The other day I had to make one of those things in clay. You know, when you let your hands express your feelings. I made something look like a salamander. You know, something prehistoric.
Pretty unformed.
Yeah. So maybe I am, you know? Maybe I am a monster. But I don't like it.
But do you even know?
You mean am I dead sure?
Yeah. Do you know whether you're a monster or not?
No, I'm not dead sure. I'm not dead sure of anything.
But you're not dead sure you aren't.
No. I know that I feel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I know. Since I've come here, I've met other people who feel the same way I do. Not exactly, but some people that have the same problems of drinking, the same emotional problems.
Now, you're leaving me again. Where's the hurt, Shirley? Where's the real hurt?
Within me.
You're hurting, that's obvious. You're hurting down in your gut someplace. What is it?
I don't know. That's why I'm here. I just don't want to go through the things I've been through before. But at the same time, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I can do to straighten my feelings out.
Just don't want to hurt anymore?
I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to go to jail anymore. I don't want to feel like an animal anymore.
Slimy little salamander.
Yeah.
It's a pretty awful way to feel, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not pretty.
You got a lot of strength, Daly.
There are no magic pills with which to treat alcoholics. There are no shortcuts, no certain cures. But there are proven methods that are helpful. Yet, for the most part, too few doctors know about them. In fact, Some doctors are even reluctant to learn them. Rare is the medical school that has a primer course in alcoholism. And there are many doctors who think of the alcoholic as a nuisance to be avoided at all costs. As for the rest of us, so long as we continue to blame the alcoholic for his condition, we increase his suffering and undermine his hope. The alcoholic wants to be rehabilitated, and in the final analysis, his rehabilitation is our responsibility.
It takes a lot of crying to get rid of that much hurt. Let it go. Cry me a river if you feel like it, Shirley.